Hello, children. Today we are going to start on with the fourth chapter of biology, the flower. The flower is a specialized shoot in which the leaves are modified into floral structures. What all beautiful structures we see on the plants which attracts us, they are actually the flowers. There are four whorls in a flower which are borne on the thalamus or the cup shaped part of the leaf stalk. The four whorls of a flower consist of sepals, petals, androecium, and lastly the gynoecium. Let's talk about the four whorls. The first whorl consists of leaf-like structures called the sepals. They are collectively called as the calyx. The second whorl consists of colored leaf-like structures called the petals. They are collectively called as corolla. The third whorl consists of long thread-like structures, usually ending at a bi-lobed tip called stamen and is collectively called androecium. It consists of filament and anther. It is the male reproductive part of the flower. The fourth whorl consists of female reproductive part called pistil or carpel. It is consisting of stigma, style, and ovary. It is collectively called as gynoecium. This diagram, which is given alongside, here you can see a brightly colored flower. The red color structures which are shown, these are the petals. It is depending upon these petals only, we can classify the flowers into different colors. These green leaf-like structures are actually the sepals. Whenever the flower is in a bud condition, it is these sepals which protect the flower. Here, the thick basal part is called as a receptacle, and the portion from where we hold the flower is called as a stalk. Above it, here you can see the yellowish color structures. These are called the anthers, and these anthers are joined to the flower through with the help of a small thread-like structure which is called as a filament. Both the anther and filament are a part of a stamen, and this stamen is the male reproductive part of a flower. In the center of the flower, above the receptacle, you can see a flask-shaped structure which at the top is having a long tube and at the top is having a flat platform. This flat platform is called stigma. Below it is the style, and this flask-shaped structure is the ovary. Inside the ovary, you can see a lot of ovules. All these three parts, that is the stigma, style, ovary, including the ovules, they are a part of pistil, and pistil is a female reproductive part. The different terms related to the flowers and their explanations. Complete or perfect flower and incomplete or imperfect flower. The flowers which have all the four whorls in them are called complete or perfect flowers, whereas if any of the four whorls is missing in any flower, they are called as incomplete or imperfect flowers. Essential or reproductive and non-essential or non-reproductive parts of a flower. Those parts of flower like the stamens, carpels, which are directly involved in reproduction process are called essential or reproductive parts. Those parts which only protect the flower or help in pollination are called non-essential or non-reproductive parts because they don't have any role in reproduction. Then comes the next term, that is the perianth. The perianth is a condition in which sepals and petals cannot be differentiated. In case if it appears green, we will be calling it as a sepaloid perianth. And if it is colored like a petals, we call it as a petaloid perianth. That is, if the perianth is appearing like a sepals, that is, and sepals are green. And sepals are green, and therefore we'll be calling it as a sepaloid. Whereas if it is look like petals, we will be calling it as a petaloid perianth. Then is the next thing, that is the bracts. What are bracts? When a flower arises in the axil of a leaf-like structure, this structure is called bract. Example, bougainvillea. This here, the diagram which shows is of a bougainvillea flower. This bougainvillea flower, if you look around, is pink in color. This is a wild plant which grows around on the roadsides and many other places. The flower appears to be pink in color, but actually these pink structures are the bracts of it, not the flower. The flower is inside it and is much smaller and is white in color. So you can here see that these bracts are for kind of a protection for the plant, for the flower. Nectaries, these are the nectar producing cells in a flower. At the base of pistil or petals, which produces sweet smelling liquid called nectar to attract insects for pollination. Example, nasturtium. Here the diagram of nasturtium is there. You can see here in the labeling that above is the sepal, below is the stalk, and here at the base of it is the nectary present. This nectary produces a sweet smelling compound called nectar, which is attracting the insects for pollination. Sexuality in flowers is based upon the presence of reproductive parts. Thus, the flowers are classified as unisexual flowers. They have either the male or the female reproductive parts in them. Example, papaya and palm. Male or staminate flowers, they contain only the male reproductive part, that is only the androecium. Female or pistillate flower, they contain only the female reproductive part, that is only the gynoecium. Bisexual flower or hermaphrodite flower, they contain both male and female reproductive parts. Neuter flower, they don't have any reproductive parts, and example is ray florets of sunflower. Descriptions of the floral parts. Sepals or calyx. These are green or may be colored like in gulmohar and protect the inner parts of a flower. Its various conditions are polysepalous, it is in which the sepals are free. Gamosepalous, it is in which the sepals are fused together. Epicalyx, it is the second series of sepals. Here, the diagram shows all the three conditions, polysepalous and even the gamosepalous. Polysepalous, you can see all the sepals are separated. Gamo means fused, either in the form of a sepal tube they are formed up. Clear? Petals or corolla, these are colored differently and attract insects like butterflies and honeybees for pollination. Its various conditions are polypetalous, it is in which the petals are free. Gamopetalous, it is in which the petals are joined to form a tube. Androecium, these consist of stamens. Each stamen consists of a long filament and an anther in which the pollen grains are produced. Its various conditions are polyandrous, in which all stamens are free. Example, petunia. Monoadelphous, in which the stamens are all arranged in one group. Only anthers are free. Diadelphous, in which the stamens are arranged in two groups. Example, pea. Polyadelphous, in which the stamens are arranged in several groups. Example, bombax. Here you can see the diagram in which the monoadelphous Diadelphous and polyadelphous conditions are given. You can see that in the first condition, monoadelphous, all the stamens are joined up together, but only anthers are all free. In diadelphous, all the 10 stamens in P, the example is P, in the P plant, the 10 stamens are there. The 9 of the stamens will be joining up together and only one is left behind. So 2 groups are formed. We call it as diadelphous. In polyadelphous, like in bombax or in bamboo, it is many of the stamens are there and they're all grouped up together into several groups. Gynoecium. This includes the pistil or carpel. It consists of a stigma. It is the structure in which the pollen grains land. The style. It connects the stigma to the ovary. Ovary, it is a swollen basal part having locules, each containing several locules. The cushion or the swollen region in the ovary attaching ovules to the walls of ovary is called placenta. What is inflorescence in placenta? Inflorescence is the mode of arrangement of flowers on the axis of the plant. That is, how the flowers are arranged on a plant, that arrangement is called as inflorescence. Placenta is the tissue that attaches the ovule to the walls of the ovary. Placentation, it is the way in which the ovules are arranged to the walls of the ovary. The assignment questions are there. That is, you have to complete the exercise in your given books. Thank you.